I'm a little nervous, so please don't do me any harm. I will tell you, one of my passions has always been, or what I've been told, and it's a passion of mine. Let me backtrack. Stumbling. Stumbling. All right. Hey friends, Rosanna here with the Nest of Petals. Thank you so much for being here and joining me on this tutorial. If you're new to my channel, please click the button below and subscribe so you don't miss out on any tutorials that I'll be doing. So I'm going to be doing hand embroidery one-on-one, and Gigi is moving stuff around, so excuse that. I'm going to be showing 5 basic stitches for you today. I'm going to show a couple of different tools that you're able to use, different threads. I have thread boxes, and I also have other ones that I'm using. All of this will be in the description below. I'll also leave links for you, so if you're wanting to purchase anything, you're able to do that on your own time as well. So again, thank you for being here, for joining, and I'm going to bring you closer so you can actually see my stitches. But before I do that, actually, let me show you hoops. So you can get some of these at like Michael's or Joann's. I'm going to be using this antique one that I got at the thrift store. I mean, it's very easy to use. If you guys see me on Instagram, you'll notice I do not use a hoop. I've been doing this for probably over 10 years now, and when I first started, I started off with a hoop, but I thought it was just very difficult to utilize, so I just stopped doing it. And for me personally, I find it simpler to use it without the hoop, but I'm going to teach you with the hoop. I have fabric that I'm going to be using, which is going to be a canvas, which is the material that I use for my pillows. But I will say, for embroidery, you can actually embroider on anything. So you could do it on cotton, which I also have near me. You could do it on a t-shirt, you could do it on jeans, tennis shoes, depending on the material. So the possibilities for embroidery are endless. Thread-wise, I do have these boxes. My mom gave these to me. She used to embroider. She doesn't do it very often now. She's more of a cross stitch person. So you'll typically see these for like people who cross stitch. But I have tons of thread that I'll use occasionally depending on the different project that I have, more so for customs. And then I have my other thread that I use, which I tend to go more towards because it's already wounded together. So you'll get it in this like little roll, and you can just pull it off and snip it, versus when you get these ones, and I'll show you up close, but they come in they come in strands of 6 pieces. So you actually have to break it apart either to 2 or 3, depending on how thick you want them. So that's why I tend not to use these ones, just because I have to do more work. If I'm not using a color thread, typically if you see me on my Nest of Petals website, typically it's all black that I'm using, unless you guys want something specific. So you'll have your embroidery needle. Again, all of these will be in the description box. I'll have a link so you can click on and purchase any of these if you don't have them on hand. And my handy scissors. These my mom gifted to me a couple years ago. So I'm going to bring you up closer so we can go ahead and start the process. And again, I'm going to show 5 basic stitches today. And yeah, thank you for watching and being here, and let's get started. All right, guys, so for this video, I'm actually going to use the thread that's in the box. I'm going to use a different color for each design that I'll be sharing versus the circular one, just because I don't want to waste the specific thread, and I want to show you kind of how these work. I will say with these threads, this is what they come in, and they're probably like 50 cents or so. Typically you can get a coupon code too, so like 20% off, 40% off, depending on which store you go to. And then you could also grab these. I don't know the name of them specifically, but what you do is, let me actually show you. So you would take these off, don't lose the number, and you're just gonna, you know, wind it around. And normally I will say that I put them in numerical order, but you can tell with all the different colors that I have that they're not a numerical order any longer. And that's just because I've been lazy and I just take them out and I just put them back in, and I know that's bad, but maybe one of these days I will put it back together. But until then, it's just gonna remain how it is. So you can see why it's beneficial to get one of these, because it kind of knots up, and you don't want it to be knotted up when you're trying to get the thread, you know, for the next project that you're getting. So, and it doesn't take very long to wind it on here. So we're almost there. And I'll actually use this piece for our first part. So I'm just gonna have a good length, and typically I do it. All right, sorry about that, guys. So my youngest just got off the bus and Gigi wants her. For those of you who do not know Gigi, she is my Shar-Pei dog. I'll share a video. Well, I'll put a picture or a video of her in here. Say hi. Say hi, guys. Yeah. Say hi, friends. But, you'll see right here, so there's 6 pieces of thread, and I typically use 3 strands. But depending on how thin or thick you want, you can go thicker. Just need to make sure you have the right needle for it. And then you kind of just pull it apart. And yeah. All right, so I'm gonna get it on my needle, and we're gonna start this bad boy. Let me just move this stuff out of the way. Oh, and don't forget, you can do 2 ways. You can either put this through so you know what number it is, or you can get a Sharpie or a marker, whatever you have on hand. So 3, 7, 6, 8, just so you know what it is. And we'll put her there. All right, so let's go ahead and move this out of the way. And this is the needle that I'm using. It's an embroidery needle. And for the knot, let me kind of zoom you in again. So I like doing it this way, and whatever you prefer for knot. So you kind of put the thread over the needle. You see how it's kind of hanging off the side? And then I wrap it 1, 2, 3, and then you put your thumb down and you kind of just pull it, and there's your knot. So yeah. All right. So next I'm gonna put my hoop on. So we put the middle part at the bottom, and kind of push it up. And you want this nice and tight. All right. And you can get erasable pens. I don't have any erasable, but this is the kind that I use. I get these from Joann's, and I typically do it when they're like 50% off. So I either use the 5 or the 8. So I'm going to use the 5 for today. The first stitch that we're going to be going over is the running stitch. So I'm going to just kind of make a line. It doesn't have to be perfect. Again, we're just doing this for kind of training purposes, if you do say. All right, so the running stitch, what I'm gonna do, make sure you guys can see this. You're gonna put the needle through and you'll see my knot is holding in place. And the running stitch is very simple. So you're gonna kind of just go up a little depending on how wide you want the actual stitch. Back stitch. I'm left-handed, so it's pretty much, it's going to be the same even if you're right-handed. So we're going to go up through, and then we're going to go back down. And then you want to go, when you come back up, you're actually going to go like the length of the stitch, have that space, and then you're going to pull back up. And you're going to go, let me actually zoom in so you guys can see this. So again, you're going to have the same kind of length, and then you're going to go through the same part where that stitch is, that hole. And then you're going to go down. And then we're going to go again, stitch lengthway, up, through the same hole, back down. And then you're just going to keep repeating all the way to the end. So again, I'm lefty, but if you're right-handed, it's going to be the same thing. You would just go from right to left versus the way I'm doing it, which is left to right. So doing the stabbing method, this gives you pretty much a very seamless straight line. Sorry guys, my eyes over here like throbbing, itching. All right, so we're gonna stab the needle through the front. And you wanna do your next stitch very close to that hole you just pulled your thread up to. So we're gonna go back down, and you're gonna have this little loop that you have created. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna do the stitch length and stab it through again, and you're gonna put the thread around the needle, and you're gonna pull the thread up, and you don't wanna do it too tight because you wanna be able to see that chain look. And then you're gonna go back down close to where you just came out of. You're gonna have that loop again right here. And again, you're gonna go back up, pull that thread over and pull up again. And you're gonna just repeat, and you can see the little chain is forming. So we're gonna go back down. But they're so unique and one of a kind because no piece will be like the other. And that's one thing that I really love. So there's the chain stitch. All right, I'm gonna get fancy on you. The last stitch I'm gonna do is the one that I typically use. So 99.9% of the times on my pillow designs, you will see me doing the stem stitch. I love the look of it, and sorry, I'm like all itchy over here. So I'm gonna make a line, and I'm not gonna be able to go as fast as I normally do because I have the hoop on, but that's okay because I'm trying to show you guys how it is. So I just did my knot. I changed the thread for you guys to be fancy, and we're gonna go up, and we're gonna go back down. So we're gonna just do like a basic stitch. All right, and then for this one, let me zoom in so you guys can see better. It's not fully halfway, it's kind of like a 3/4 way, and you do it on the top kind of part, and you go down, up, and then you go back down. And then you just repeat it. So it's kind of very close to where you just like pull the thread up to the very top, but it's not. All right, and you can kind of see it, like it gives it just a little more dimension. This one I love using it because if you guys follow me on Instagram at nestofpetals, the pillows that I do, they have all the different curves with the letters or the different flowers or whatever it may be, whatever designs on the actual pillow. So in my opinion, this one gives you more flexibility and more ease when you're working with it because of how the design is versus just doing like a straight line or something fancy like the chain. I just, again, in my opinion, I think it's just more simple, more forgiving with all the different like curves and you know, the different layouts or fonts that I use. So again, you just continue up and down, and again, it's not halfway, it's like 3/4 towards the end of the last thread that you just utilized. So, and it's on the top, you don't go like in between like you do on the split stitch. A stem stitch. All right guys, so that is all the stitches for today. So we got the running, we got the back stitch, split chain, and then my go-to, which is the stem stitch. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, comments, please put it down below. Again, all of the items that I've used today, with the exception of the items I thrifted, they'll also be down below in the description box with a link. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed again the first tutorial of hand embroidery 1-on-1. And if you haven't subscribed, please click the link below and subscribe so you'll get notifications of all the different tutorials that I'll be sharing on hand embroidery. Tell your friends, tell your family, come on over, learn the lost art of hand embroidery. So I love you guys mucho. Again, thank you for being here. And yeah, talk to you soon.